These two pictures are of myself, my mother, and my aunt Edna. And we're on the back of a truck, about a 1-ton truck, with all of our clothing, cooking utensils, heading up to Sardis, to the hop field, to pick hops for the summer. And the reason why we're parked like this is the truck broke down. So I'm around 14 or so, got my hair cut off pretty short. But when I was born at Harmesley Hop Yard in Agassiz. And I was born at least 2 months, if not 3 months, premature. And my grandfather, Seymour Grant, thought I was not going to live more than 24 hours. Said to my mother, you stay home and look after him. You know, do whatever it is you have to do because he's not going to live. My surviving the first few months is amazing to me now, but up until I'm an old man, I don't realize the importance of it. It's just, yeah, I was born in an outhouse and born in a hop field, you know, in the middle of the night. But then looking at the sanitary conditions of an outhouse and the lack of sanitary conditions in a hop camp, because they had no water there also. It was all well water and things like there's no running water, no electricity, nothing. So for me to be alive today is a miracle in my mind, and probably in the minds of medical people, because my skull was so soft that my mom had to keep turning me every hour or two, because just by lying there, my skull would flatten out. So these are the stories coming from my mother. And she says, your papa thought you're just going to die. So yeah, look after him. And my digits, I'm not sure if it's baby oil that she used or mineral oil or something. She said, if I didn't do that, the skin between your digits would start to grow together, including my toes. So I have a toe that's grown part way in between, and my asking about that led to the story about she having to oil my body continuously until I was about 6 months old. So just one of those really fortunate things in life that I'm here. In 1906 is the first record of the farmers being here on the Indian Reserve, unbeknownst to the Indian Department. So I'm not sure if it was a year or two prior to that or longer that the Chinese farmers were actually renting land directly from the Musqueam band members. But in 1906, the records show that the Department of Indian Affairs Indian agent became aware that there were Chinese people on the reserve, and they were trying to figure out how these Chinese guys got here. From this corner, the roadway went up into that area behind you, and that's where our dad's family farm was, in this area. So it's and that's the Lin On Yun, who was right here. Jing's farm was here, and further down the land was divided into two areas. One was part of Hong Kong farm, Hong Kong Yuan, and the other part was Lin On Yun.
The road leading to the Hong Kong farm.
Yeah.
So this is
Right here? Yeah. It's where that would be. And this used to be like a soccer field.
A soccer field.
Small one. Lumpy.
Oh yeah? Yeah. You play there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey Larry, now you still dancing in the winter time? Dancing on still
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, over here.
Okay, it's still over here now.
And my very, very first summer job was when I was 11 years old. And it's roughly in this area on 51st that I got a summer job at 11 to help weed the garden. And it was a job that was an ongoing job because it was difficult to keep up to the weeds.
That's my grandfather's house.
It's the same as the uncles that were here originally. Musqueam's their home. Yeah, they're Chinese, completely Chinese, but their whole life growing up was here in Musqueam. They went to Southland School, the neighborhood was theirs, and they didn't get to play a lot because they had to work. The original farmers that were here were brought all of the farming methods over here from the old country, their villages from China. And it was basically organic farming because they composted. They were each farm had a compost pile, probably 20 by 20 by 10 feet high. And they used that. Plus they used natural fertilizers like manure, horse manure, cow manure, chicken manure. They used that, and they switched from that to chemical farming after the Second World War when the chemical companies gained control of the seed production. So to get the seed, you had to buy the fertilizer. So you were basically forced into chemical farming. Very much a market garden. It was basically all Chinese vegetables and then a little bit of carrot, but other than that, it wasn't very much what I would consider Western type of vegetables. So, as children, we were allowed to travel around the farms, being sons of one of the Linon people. We were allowed to pull vegetables out and eat them. So in the summertime when the vegetables were growing, we didn't have to go home for lunch. So we could walk around and pull carrots and turnips or whatever, lettuce, and just clean it up and eat on the run. That's one of the best memories I had. And the other memories about the farming was it coming up and having to have dinner meals with Dad, because they had 10 guys, so they made about 8 different dishes. So that was our beginning of eating Chinese food. It's very interesting to think about it because we ate the Chinese food, which is basically the same as Aboriginal food, except they're prepared in different ways. Eating everything on a deer, like from the head all the way down to the tail, was no different than going to Chinatown and eating a pig right from its nose to its tail, and including all of its innards. When you ate a chicken, you ate everything also. I used to think it was gross. My dad could put a chicken head in his mouth and just chew away and suck the brain out of the head. I couldn't do that. Still today I can't do that. But my older brother could. He just put the chicken head in his mouth and there you go. I spent 10 hours a day in the field helping my mother, working alongside of my mother, weeding the fields, and that was probably one of the last jobs I had on the farm. After that, I really decided that was more work than I wanted to do for a living. Farming is like the fishing. I like to play at it. I'm not really that interested in, other than trying to show a grandson where vegetables come from, where food comes from, is to plant the seed and watch it germinate and grow and become something that is edible. I can do that.